And what we see here is that there was a daily exchange rate of about 5,740 BanglaPesa. But how was this additional or not? One way of looking at that was to ask perceptions. So interviews with the users of it, there were interviews with the people using it. 83% reported that their total sales were increasing rather than shillings trade being displaced. Now, because of time, what I should do? Well, I'll just go straight to the conclusion. Yeah. It's in the paper. Sorry, I didn't come to the morning session. So how are the papers being distributed?
They should be online already. Okay.
So there are many more tables, and it also goes into all the details of how this was calculated. But even within 1 week, our finding is that about the daily trades have increased 22%. This is additional trade. It's done in BanglaPesa, and this is not displacing the trade in Kenyan shillings. So, complementary currencies like these can enable communities to immediately utilise their excess capacity to develop and maintain their own development programs. The second stage of this, of course, was then to start spending the BanglaPesa that was generated through commissions on needed social and environmental projects. Of course, what you've heard is that something happened just on the 29th of May, so quite quickly after the launch. There was an article in a newspaper which said that it was some kind of secessionist allied activity, and so the police came and they ransacked the homes of all the people in the project looking for secessionist political material. When they didn't find anything, they then approached the Kenyan Central Bank, who then said that yes, this could be forgery, and so Alfred and Will here, you can't really see it actually. This is a picture sent from the cell. They spent a night in jail. They are currently out on bail. The trial is set for to kick off on July the 17th. The charges are forgery, and there is an opportunity, I think it's the 28th of June, where there will be another hearing and there's a possibility for everything to be dropped. Leander, you look like ready. You want to make some comments on this?
On the 28th they meet with the central bank.
Is it the central bank?
So the legal processes go on, but these framework processes are also in parallel.
So tomorrow morning there is a petition that's going to be shared, and we'll invite everyone to consider signing it. It's a petition addressed to the central bank, and it will be used at this meeting on the 28th of June. There's also an Indiegogo campaign, so if you go to Indiegogo and type BanglaPesa, you'll find it and more information. There's also a really nice video that they've made, which I don't have time to show. The next step, if you support this, will be to take this onto mobile phones, because Kenya is leading the world with mobile phones, but there will be some costs associated with that, as well as the legal costs. And of course, this has been quite disruptive to the rollout of the project, so to help sustain it and relaunch it. Okay, implications would be, I'd like to maybe discuss the implications later, and also at some point, it'd be nice if those of you who feel maybe at the end of the session, we could all stand up here and have our photo taken underneath this, those of you who wish to. And then we can tweet it to him now. Do we have questions now or
now?
Now,
just a bit.
Or do we have a?
And after we'll have a more general set of questions, if we've got time. So, do you have? Yes.
What are the implications?
Okay. I think this whole what's happened more recently shows us that how we are. We are a movement. It was incredible. A quick mention on the Skype group and mass mobilization worldwide to provide support and advice, assistance, etc. I think that's one positive thing to really recognise immediately, straight off. However, the question is how effective are we going to be? Because clearly, over time, as this whole field grows, there will be more and more questions asked. There will be things which are done in the wrong way as well, of course. So, do we need some kind of body for technical assistance, both to governments, to NGOs, to donors? Could there possibly be a role for the UN or some other intergovernmental body in relation to that? That is the question I think we need to discuss. Also, are we organised well enough amongst ourselves as an emerging movement and profession to be able to help each other, both at difficult times like this, but in an ongoing way? The third thing, I think, is I'm really unsure whether development NGOs and the development sector is that useful to engage in terms of scaling this. I think there are probably better partners, for example, cities and local governments. However, in terms of having an ally to spread the concept around the world, that these are actually very interesting tools, innovative tools for poverty alleviation, I think it's important to engage the development community, bilateral aid agencies and so on. So that's some implications I'm getting from this.
Short question. Two very short questions and short answers too, please, because we need time for the other presentations, of course. Please.
Jim, just a suggestion, could you, Maria Freire, who's writing regulations in Brazil on social currencies, could you get her to their central bank to contact the Kenyan central bank to say it's a topic that the Brazilian government actively promotes?
Yes, that was one of the things that was suggested immediately and is underway, I believe.
Last question.
Regarding measurement, what you mentioned is that there's no replacement with any shillings.
Yes.
But is there potentially a risk of negative impact on informal businesses who are not part of a credit union?
So, Will tells me that the 200 that agreed to participate is over 90% of businesses in that area. But I agree that as it scales, there could be questions about that, yeah. So how do you make sure that this is open? Would that be the implication? To keep the thing open rather than...
I mean, you have 200 businesses that increase what they buy internally. Well, it could be that before they were also buying from other businesses who are not part of the credit union right now. So buying more internally, it could be that other businesses who are not part are negatively affected.
Substitution.
So the evaluation that's being done with this one is after a week. I think what you're suggesting would be best looked at a bit later to see, because it does come back to this question of displacement. I mean, if there is no negative impact on the trade in shillings, then that exclusion, that effect wouldn't be happening. However, over time, we may begin to see some displacement of shillings. We don't know.
But regarding the measurement, right now, the project is only measuring businesses that are part of it, not that are not.
So there's a control study where 209 businesses in a different informal settlement have been analysed, baseline study, etc. And so at the moment, because they've got all this other stuff happening, they haven't, and it's too soon really, but they do want to compare what happens in Bangladesh with another informal settlement. So there will be a control group.
Thank you. Thank you very much. If we've got time at the end of the session, we can have further questions or other questions on this topic. You say that there will be a petition to be signed tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. And now we go to the next paper from Mr. Mieze.
I made my presentation much longer because I saw we had 2 hours.
Thank you for this. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yoshihisa Miyazaki, and this is my co-researcher, Kenichi Kurita. We are glad to have a chance to present our research. Some of our recent work focus on indigenous development in hilly and mountainous areas, making the best use of community currency. Today, we would like to talk about a case study of forest volunteer activity and community currency circulation. Well, let me get straight to our presentation. This is outline. In our presentation, we will first give a little background on the hilly and mountainous area in Japan, such as definition, circumstance, issues, and material measures. And we will tell you about the explanation of research question on the role of the community currency in indigenous development of this area. Last, we investigate a case study of forest volunteer activities and community currency circulation in Kochi Prefecture in Japan. At the same time, we analyze awareness of forest volunteers and community currency users. In this study, we clarify what is the key of community currency circulation on the basis of these results. First, we explain some background. Hilly and mountainous areas is a large special area in Japan. Here is a large and special area and include flatland comparatively far from urban area and intermountain zone. There are playing a multiple role for producing agricultural products and conserving natural environment, which area essential for our living. And hilly and mountainous area is set to connect forest area and urban area in natural circulation and network and economical circulation network. This is a Japanese typical hilly and mountainous area. Like this. Most elderly people living alone in there. In conserving this natural resource in promoting rural sustainability, it is essential to consider the livelihood and lifestyle of people living in these areas. At present, hilly and mountainous areas have difficult issues comparative with other areas. Therefore, in order to sustain these areas, significant effort and costs are required. In particular, due to depopulated and population aging, workers in forestry and agriculture are insufficient. As a result, young people who worked and lived in these areas went away one after another. Ultimately, forestry and community has declined. However, hilly and mountainous areas have pluralistic values such as described, so as to solve this problem as much as possible. What is a strategic measure of solving these problems in hilly and mountainous areas? As we practice these measures, three factors such as human resources, natural resources, and money are essential. In particular, we must discover and manage potential resources in inter-regions. Moreover, utilizing these resources positively we take a step up toward the indigenous development. In order to promote circulation of these resources, we must design inter-regional circulation scheme. At that time, money or community currency served as a lubricant. That is to say, money creates smooth circulation of human resources and natural resources. In this sense, community currency can play significant role to solve the issues of hilly and mountainous areas. On the basis of this background, research questions guided our study. What are the roles of community currency in the forest volunteer activities? First is in the forest volunteer activities. Second is in the inter-regional circulation scheme. Third is in the awareness and behavior of people. Research setting. In this study, we researched on a case study of forest volunteer activities, which is a non-profit organization, Tosanomori Kyuentai, hereafter Kyuentai. In particular, we focus on forest volunteer activities and community currency, or Moriken, hereafter MK, that Kyuentai has issued. As shown later in detail, Kyuentai has distributed community currency, which is coupons exchangeable local products, with aim of supporting forest practices by volunteering and contributing to community development. The case study analysis proceeds as follows. First, we surveyed the activities of Kyuentai and community currency circulation of MK. In addition, this research examined the awareness of forest volunteer and MK users through interview and questionnaires. Now, I would like to look at forest volunteer activities of Kyuentai. The non-profit organization Tosanomori Kyuentai, this based in the prefecture of Kochi, established in 2003. Kochi prefecture is covered with forest more than two-thirds of the land. Despite the abundant natural resources, the management of forest is delayed. In order to solve this problem, many forest volunteer associations have been established. One of them is Kyuentai, and this NPO's mission is contribution to the rural community on the stage of forest. And the objects of these NPOs are first, to promote forest volunteer in Kochi prefecture. Second is to develop the enlightenment program of environmental conservation and make a contribution to the public interest promotion. Three, to revive small-scale self-cutting forestry. Kyuentai's activities seek to manage proper natural resources and to make the community livable. Its three main activities are first, the maintenance on conservation of forest, street road building, thinning, carrying out thin wood, and so on. And second, the training of volunteers and promotion of environmental education. Third is other activities of forest management. For example, construction of the regional self-sufficient energy system, and so on. And from here, we consider the awareness of the forest volunteers. We analyze life satisfaction, community awareness, and reward awareness. First, this slide presents the correlation between the frequency of volunteering and life satisfaction. On average, the people who volunteer frequently or rarely frequently or rarely is higher life satisfaction than the people who never volunteer. The difference is 1.2 points, sizable and statistically highly significant. As a result of this analysis, we clarify that people who participate in forest volunteer activities have a high life satisfaction level. Next, we determine differences in community awareness among volunteers. By the same way of life satisfaction, community awareness was captured. We invite evidence differences on average between frequently or rarely group and never group. In that two questions, first is community affection. Affection exists in the community. And second is wish to contribution. I'd like to contribute something. The data is shown on this slide. The people who volunteer frequently or rarely is higher community awareness than the people who never volunteer. The difference is 0.59 and 0.69, and from this result, we clarify that forest volunteers have intensity of community. Last, we consider the relationship between volunteering and reward awareness. This figure shows the descriptive statistic. Of those questions, 46.9% felt that regular volunteering and 67.7% that forest volunteer required rewards. In contrast, 21.9% is no reward, and 20.9% is non-reward. Thus, the perspective necessity of reward differs by the type of volunteering. The time and labor of forest volunteering are both scarcer than those of general volunteering. Therefore, compared with general volunteering, those who engaged in forest volunteering may need some sort of reward. So far, we showed forest volunteer activities and awareness in forest volunteer through a case of Q&A. Next, to look at the community currency Moriken, that is the key of Q&A's activities. This picture is Moriken. Q&A's forest volunteer activities are of great significance, but not sufficient to ensure the sustainability and regeneration of hilly and mountainous areas. The key to success is the community currency MK. The Q&A distributed Moriken to express gratitude to volunteer. The MK is composed of coupons given to people who have taken part in activities to maintain the forest. These coupons can be exchanged for local products. The unit of MK is 1 mori. The word mori is forest in English. And users can exchange 1 mori for a local product within 1,000 yen, about 8 euro or $10. Thus, they have a slightly different implication than regular local coupon and money. Next, we can use overview of the specific circulation scheme of MK. The circulation flow of Moriken. MK is mainly issued on the basis of funds received money as investment and donation from individual members. Q&A issued them freely with the limit of each received fund, approximately 2,500 to 3,000 coupons are distributed a year. There are 3 ways to obtain MK: taking part in the forest management and of Q&A, or taking part in the making the firewood, or investing or sponsoring Q&As. MK is distributed as a proof that people have taken part in the forest volunteering. Forest volunteers can exchange MK for local product many times until the executive office pays them off. Therefore, MK can be used in transaction among shops and will possibly help to revitalize the economic activities of area, just like community currency coupons. Ultimately, supporting shops will give MK back to the Kochi Shitemura Voluntary Association. At that same time, they will gain money. The amount of money equals the amount of local products exchange of the MK. Inter-regional circulation scheme of MK is here. MK supports many activities in hilly and mountainous areas through multiple circulation flow. Q&I forest volunteer activities are a new initiative in Japanese forestry industry. It has become possible to develop new type of forestry, such as small dispersive side business and low investment type. The MK has supported this system. Q&I circulated MK as gratitude to participate in forest volunteer activities. Then participants exchange MK for local production. Q&I has taken over the knowledge and skills of traditional forest volunteers through these participants. Moreover, it has sustained forest conservation activities thanks to interaction and cooperation within out of area and has encouraged inter-regional circulation by involving local stores. It is this circulation that is important for regeneration of hilly and mountainous area. At that time, community currency has played the role of medium of connect human being, material, and resource. Next, we look at awareness of MK users. This is MK users' general impression. Over 90% is possible, positive impression in Moriken. And next, feeling is Moriken user. Did you feel a change after Moriken was introduced into the community? I feel change, yes, is 45%, about 45%, and so. And usage is frequently and community change. Differences between, is there a difference between usage frequently and awareness? People who use MK frequently may take a positive view of community impact. Therefore, we separate the regular user group from the irregular user group and verify the difference of awareness. This slide presents mean of the difference between usage frequency and awareness on community change. The regular user group has high score compared with those of irregular users group. As a result, it is appear that more people use MK, the more they realize change in local community. In other words, people attain close tie with the local community by regularly using MK in local shop. We can infer that the people realize change in local community. And so let me summarize what we found. First, from this study, the relationship between forest volunteer activities and community currency circulation is the key to indigenous development of hilly and mountainous areas. This collaboration creates new inter-regional circulation of forest volunteer, local products, woods, and Moriken. We found that Q&I forest maintenance and other activities and circulation of MK are like two wheels that mutually promote forest volunteer activities and local economy. In this regard, community currency is a tool, not a purpose in itself. It is important for rural sustainability to take a balance some of activities and community currency circulation. Also, in this study, we focus on the awareness of forest volunteer and community currency user. We clarify that first, forest volunteers have a higher life certification level. Second, forest volunteers have a high level of community affection and a wish to contribution. Third is type of volunteer are linked to necessity of reward. But in this analysis, we could not explain the relationship between the awareness of forest volunteer or community currency users and community currency circulation. Furthermore, we do not analysis comparative study of community currency users and non-community currency users. These are issues of our studies in the future. And acknowledgement, finally, we would like to thank Consumer Cooperative Institute of Japan and Tosanomori Kyuentai and Masayuki Yoshida and Masahiro Mikami. This research owes much to support and comment. We take this opportunity to express the thanks everyone. Thank you very much for your attention.
Are there questions?
Yes. Could you explain what were the conditions on redemption of the currency back into official money?
Redemption is percent is 100%.
Was there a discount?
It's no discount.
Was there a time period in which it was not redeemable?
The same local products and community currency exchange and same money is exchanged.
But could a shopkeeper take it directly to redeem it?
National money is equivalent to community money. So if a local shop go to the clearing house, they can get the equivalent community money, equivalent to national money.
They can redeem it immediately?
About one per month.
1 month later?
1 month later, yeah.
But any issues are backed on yen deposits?
No. No. The Japanese money is funding this Kyuentai, and Japanese money donation or investment in Japanese firm or banking into NPO.
Yes, but for each NK that is issued, there is the exact amount in yens that are deposited somewhere or not?
Deposit on national money.
Yes.
It's put on. Sorry, Tosanomori. Tosanomori Kyuentai national money in preparation for exchanging community money. So, Tosanomori Kyuentai. Tosanomori Kyuentai have the money for refund from community currency to national money. Do you understand?
Yes, it's backed by yens, and
Yes.
there is a possibility of reconversion, redemption, but with 1 month's delay.
Yeah.
Study.
Yeah, community money is backed by national money. National money, Kyuentai have the national money
Yeah,
in preparation.
it's okay.
I think it's as good as we're going to get.
Other questions? Short questions?
No.
Short answers?
No, I just have Will to join.
Well, then just a follow-up question. If 100% of the MK has to be backed by yen, why have to do, what's the added value in your thinking of using the MK instead of paying the volunteers directly in yen?
MK is QSI is forest volunteer issue is means the forest volunteer activity only circulating and the money is issued was local shop, local economy is circulating, not collaboration in this area. So this commit currency issue is these activities and local economy is collaborating and circulating interregional circulation scheme creating. That's it.
Maybe I can phrase the question another way. How much time between the issuance of MK and the redemption of MK for yen? How much time?
I'm really sorry, but I'm really sure how much time redemption is a redemption.
Okay. We stop now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So the third and last presentation will be from Jens Martin on a more general viewpoint, because this will be on the question of cooperation of currencies.
So thank you very much for that I can have a small introduction on my topics. It's a little bit of change. We're gonna make a jump from the really practitioner's part also into a more general view. But I will start first with my case study, with my little case study. First, my title was Aspects of the Cooperation of Currencies. And my translator insisted that currencies are not cooperationable. And so, because the cooperation is maybe from human beings or something like that, so I changed into cooperation of currency communities. Well, I hope I can talk tonight about such aspects. It's really out of ongoing research work, so it's not a really finished, fixed part that I can tell you, but I think it's interesting enough to have a look at it. So then I maybe go first to the end and tell you about Zurich. What's the general background? In Zurich area we have, or in the city of Zurich, we have about 5 complementary currencies, or maybe there are some more, but 5 locally adapted or locally present currency groups. They decided to work together because there was a research study of a colleague of mine who had the idea that these groups should work together and maybe should even fusion or merge. And he was then asking the staff of these the committees of these associations, they are all associations after Swiss law, 5, if and how it would be possible to work together or to merge. And out of that came the idea to build a joint structure to work together. This looks like that. These are the 5 organizations. I just explained what the yellow is, and they came together in an informal alliance. That's more or less a little formalized alliance. That's more or less the state we have. And the idea is to continue this cooperation in future. But now it's an alliance. There is like a steering committee. They come together and discuss the topics that all of these organizations have in common. They are, all of them have a cycles-based exchange. Some of them do hours. They are like a Tauschringe, in time exchange. And this one is talent, so it's a more general approach. Now, it is a good thing to have to work together. And what's the output? One output was a joint market. So to really come together, have a fair, a market, and each organization could sell on this market by their currency, and it was possible to have a clearing. We made a clearing to cross the borders to the other organization. So as a member of, for example, of this Comprino organization, I could buy at the market place of the talent and pay with my Comprino hours, and then we had we made this clearing and intertrade thing that I will explain. The whole thing is a little bit even more interesting because this organization, Give and Get, is about 2 years from now in function. It's very new, but they already went to 3 old small systems in the region, and they could convince them to work together. So they have a contract to work together. So it's an association by contract, and you have another 3 associations who are not really merged, but associated here. So you have even more members. And this organization has also regional groups in other parts of Switzerland. That's more or less to show you that's this system. Now, what's interesting about that? That I think the working together is a process that's maybe good or will start not only in Zurich, or has already started in other areas, because more and more systems work, and they work maybe close or in neighborhood, and the question arises, why do you have different systems and each has 100 participants, and if you put it together you have 200? It's quite a lot more. The whole, by the way, it's about around 400 or 500 this structure, so it's also quite small. Alright, this is just a glimpse on the situation where we are working on, and I will show you now the theoretical background that we have that we are working on. I hope I can tell you something, not all of that what's here. The case study I just mentioned. The beginning I will have it very short. About money and currency, we have to think about the background, and are there advantages of interchange? Is it true or is it not true? And then I will tell about some principles and technical terms, just to maybe not to shock you, but to show you in which direction we have to think about when we continue to develop the community currencies. Money maybe today is separating people, maybe tomorrow, or we are here already in the tomorrow, we are bringing together these people. That's of course one goal. The working together respectfully, sharing resources and sharing wealth, that's I hope some common idea of the community currencies. Currency, I use currency instead of money, or it's very close, sometimes it's mixed up, some people use it like this or like that. I use it in a systemic, or I have put a kind of definition for the work we are doing, maybe for another work you need another one. And why do I say it like that? Currency is a collective and dynamic agreement or framework of rules to manage wealth in a community. It's an instrument for the exchange of goods and the determination of participation of the participating people. And that's because the thing with the rules and the framework we have seen already in the case study of Zurich. Each organization, as you know, has a set of rules for their exchange system, and if you can describe a currency maybe like that. You can discuss it. The framework, and it also, one viewpoint I will show you is the thinking of it's like an operating system, like a software. So the operating system works in the community, and the community, of course, like in a computer, can then on this system do their economic activities. Yes. Why should currency groups work together? What are the advantages? Are there any advantages? I have some here, but maybe it's not sufficient. A network of more organizations can support trustworthiness and safety, maybe. Might help to overcome that critical mass of participants or of businesses. It might get bigger markets if this is a target to my own services I like to sell. It might strengthen individual organizations. And resources, shared resources, as we know, if we do it in a clever way, becomes more or becomes easier. Some advantages, the disadvantages I also have in my article, but here I leave it out. I like to emphasize one point of this exchange between group, or this intertrade or interchange. That's the economic equilibrium. We all usually we all think about an economic equilibrium with our pocket, with our wallet. And it should come in as much as it goes out, like something like that. Or I should earn as much money as I spend at the end of the month. Or a company should have at the end of the year at least as much money gained as they gave out. That's an idea that can be discussed. Why do we think like that? But of course, there are some reasons that this equilibrium, this state of balance, is a target we have to look after. But this target is different between an individual, a group or community, and a world level. It's not the same. Like in the euro, for example, where the debts of Greece are really horrible, but they are treated like they were like debts of an individual person. And the individual person with large debts is, of course, not so trustworthy. But maybe a country with debts is another level, maybe even another law. Now we have, I already said, we have it's like me. I earn something, I spend something, and I should keep in time the balance. Of course, I can spend a lot at the beginning of the month, then I'm like in the minus, and then at the end of the month my wages comes, my salary, and then I got in the plus. This is a time thing. And then I have an additional criteria, set point. What's a set point? That's somehow a point where my equilibrium, my balance is. For example, I can have a set point at 0. That's a typical let's set point. In a let's system, you have you create the money like by somebody doing spending it, and he goes in the minus, and on the other side, one or another person gets the plus, and the set point, of course, is the 0. For an individual like in Europe, you have maybe your set point on your bank account of your daily use is 2,000 euro. That's a good thing that you never go below 0, because then the bank comes. But it's also good because you don't have too much money on the account. So you like to you try to keep it on a certain level. That's maybe the term set. And of course, the art of balancing a life economically is one thing, and the art of balancing a community economically is another thing. Then you have, like inside the community, you have the individuals. Each individual tries to keep its balance, and the whole thing, the whole community also has to try to keep its balance. Yes, I have to speed up. And of course, in the world balancing scheme is also, it's very simple. You have needs. I wrote healthy wishes because some economists always say wishes are infinite, but healthy wishes are not infinite. And you have on the other side the products or the services the world can deliver. And of course, at the end, roughly, it should be in a balance. I will just add some technical terms. And of course, it's maybe like a little bit of Babylonian thing, but just to mention it, and then we can maybe discuss it, or we can. What's to be considered in a cooperation between different systems, between different currencies? Yeah, you have to know where your set points are. So, like, if I'm a big community, what are my turnarounds? What are my set points? And what are my limits? So, how much can I or can we all together go into minus or into plus? This is something to define. Then, of course, you have a trade balance. The ingoing and outgoing trade should come somehow, somewhen, into balance. And you have to define when and how. Then you could think about exchange rates. Exchange rates are an instrument for correction of trade balances. You can have 1 hour of organization A is not 1 hour of organization B, but only 0.5 hours, for example, to correct a trade balance, which is not. But also you have to discuss it. The next discussion might be a reference or anchoring money. This is a theme that is in economics sometimes up, like a Terra, for example, or a Banco. They are like ideas to have a reference because you have many systems and you like to exchange, you have a lot to calculate, exchange rates, and then it's easier to have a big reference which is clear. For example, nowadays the dollar, of course, is a reference, but maybe not the right. And anchoring the money somewhere, if it's necessary, by some backing. And what's what? The next thing is, if you work together, if one community and another community exchange their goods and services and they trade with different currencies, then it might be that one of these groups is weaker than the other. And the weaker might be weaker, really weaker, because he has no resources, because he is in the south, because he has a desert land, whatever. And then you have to think about compensation. You cannot have a trade balance in long term, because when one is weak and one is strong, then you always will, this will always go be intensified instead of reduced. So also compensation funds might be a topic. And last but not least, tolls and taxes. The neoliberal background is, of course, this is the devil and his companion, but it's completely wrong. Tolls and taxes might be very good instruments to help to regain the balance and to maintain the whole system. So, and the clearing systems, that's another item, how to do it technically and how to build the software to have this exchange really working. Okay, so then I will continue with the end. I leave the whole thing in the, I cross the whole thing because of not enough time. Sorry. And at the end might be